Are your coffee presses and French presses naked? Oh no! Maybe you need to cover them and get something warm for the bottom and keep your coffee steaming hot. Well, have no fear. Coffee press cozies are here. Woohoo! So I have made some coffee press cozies, whether you want them in the round or you want some toggle button closures to get around your handles. We have a pattern for you. So this is a 2-in-1 pattern. Really, it's a 4-in-1 pattern because we have a short and tall design for in the round and a short and tall design for a flat panel with toggle enclosures here at GoodKnitKisses. And in this video today, I'm going to teach you how to cast on and make the first loop for your toggle right there in the very beginning. And then we will end and I'll help you make the toggle loop over here at the end. And then we'll make an I-cord and put one in the middle if you're doing the tall design. We're going to do all that today and even sew in the toggle here on GoodKnitKisses. And if you want to see the pattern, how to make this cable, we've got a video for that and a video on making the linen stitch, whether you're working flat panel or you're working in the round as this one is. So stay tuned and let's begin. Welcome to GoodKnitKisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. Our coffee press cozy is made either in the round or flat panel with needles. And if you're looking for the Loom knit design, keep your eyes peeled for that because we will have that released in about a week or so. So click down on the video description below to get the pattern for both of these in the round and the flat panel with the loops. Today we're going to concentrate on just the loops. We're going to make the 2 loops here in the very beginning. So you can use this for other patterns. So that's why I'm just concentrating on here. And then we do have video techniques for making the rest of this because we actually have a matching hat pattern and we're working it in the round, and so it's going to show you how to make the linen stitch and also how to make the cable and working the flat panel back and forth. For the linen stitch, we do have a video on that, plus the cable pattern will be helpful to just jump right to that part for making the cable, even if it's in the round or the video is in the round, but you'll be able to make that here because you're working that cable part on the right side. So be sure and get your pattern down below. There will be links to all the tutorials mentioned, and we're going to dive right into making this loop. Again, you can use this technique on other patterns as well, and we're going to just dive right in today. Gather your supplies and we'll begin. Click down below for right and left-handed video tutorials down in the video description below. We're going to begin with an I-cord loop, and we need to start with a long tail, approximately 46, 48 inches. Go ahead and measure that out nice and loosely. You don't want to stretch your yarn as you do because we're going to make our I-cord and then add on our stitches with a long tail cast on method. So you do need this long amount, and we're going to make a slip knot. So go ahead and do that. I just like to wrap it around my finger twice, take the back loop over the front, and do that one more time to make my slip knot. Go ahead and pick up my needle and place it on and make sure that the tail is toward me and the ball yarn at the back. And then we're going to cast on 1 stitch. So grab our 2 strands, split it, and pull up at the thumb, down at the finger, down at the thumb, and let it go. And we do have basic tutorials for you, but this pattern is an intermediate pattern, so I'm assuming a lot of these basic things you probably know already. We're going to continue working on this right side, just on one side of it. We're going to pass it back and forth between our needles, so you can work on circulars like me, or straights, or DPNs. That's fine. The DPNs, though, you won't be able to do after the I-cord. You'll need something longer. So go ahead and slip it over to your main needle that you knit from. So it's in my left hand if I'm a right-handed knitter, and my right hand if I'm a left-handed knitter. And now we're going to knit these 2 stitches, and you'll notice that the yarn is coming from this second stitch in, and that's on purpose. So we're going to knit 1, 2 stitches and slide it back over, and I just tugged on that if you saw me tug my tail. Just slip it back over, and that was row 1. We want to knit 8 rows. So go ahead and do that. So we're knitting 2 and always slipping it back over to our main needle and knitting. So we're not turning our work. And this makes 3. Go Go ahead and make those 8 rows. Pause your video and I will see you there. All right, after you've worked your 8 rows, you're going to leave it in this hand here, and we're going to place the bottom loop of the I-cord onto this needle here, and then you're ready to cast on for your ribbing. So go ahead and come over here, and we're going to pick up the loop that's on the end here. Okay, you can even pick up this one, this is fine, because that's going to be hidden inside. Yeah, that's actually how I did it. I pulled it from this one. Okay, so now we have this strand here, which is my tail, and then we have our ball strand, which is back here and it's attached. So we're going to grab these together and continue casting on. So we just got it to where it's split, and we're going to pull it up at the thumb, down at the finger, and tighten it up and do it again. So up at the thumb, down at the finger, pull it, and continue. So you're going to continue casting on for a total of 31 stitches. So we're going to continue casting on long tail for 31 stitches, and then we're going to turn our work. All right, continue and pause your video. I will meet you at the end. All right, so my sample doesn't quite have the 31 because I don't really need it for this sample series, but I just want to show you what happens on the next row. So we're going to turn over. You should have 31 stitches on yours. Make sure and drop your tail, and you're only working with the ball yarn. Okay, so we're going to begin row 1 of your ribbing, and we begin by knitting 1 and purling 2. And this is our rib stitch pattern. So it's a 2x1. The right side will have 2 knits and 1 purl. But we are beginning on the wrong side. So we knit 1 and we purl 2. And we're going to do this until the last 3 stitches remain. So go ahead and do that. Pause your video, and I will see you when you have 3 stitches remaining on your needles. Okay, so you should have just completed a knit stitch, and now we have 3 stitches remaining. So we're going to purl this. So we're going to put our yarn to the front, and we're going to purl 2 into the back loop and then purl 1. So got a little bit of a gymnastics whenever you purl 2 through the back loop. So we're going to go into the back of this second loop here and the first loop. So you have to go into the second one first. So we kind of tip our needles towards us here like this, get up on the end here. I'm going to just put it in the back and scoop towards the front. So there we go. So I've gone right in there like that, and you have to make sure you put your tips, push it right up against that other needle, because otherwise you don't want to split the yarn. So we got it there like that, and then we want to put our yarn between the 2, and we're going to push our yarn to the back, purling like that, and then let them drop off. So we purled 2 together through the back loop, and now we just need to purl 1. And turn your work over. And you can see you have a nice pretty loop right there, and we are down to our 30 stitches, which will remain for the rest of the pattern. And then you're going to begin your ribbing, and you just begin with a knit 2 and a purl 1, and that should line up with what you did earlier. So you've got your 2 knits here and your purl. There you go. So you have your nice loop here. So the next time I'll see you, I'm going to show you how to make the ending loop that will also remain on the end, on the same side as this. So your sample is going to look like this when you get there, and you'll have 2 rows remaining. You'll do the first 2 rows of the ribbing, which is a row 11 and 12, and we'll see you there for row 13. See you soon. Okay, so I'm ready to start making my second loop here at the end. So we're going to be working on our ribbing. I've already began my ribbing, and it actually started on the wrong side and now completed the right side row. So I did row 11 on the wrong side, 12 on the right side, and I've finished to this point. Now we're going to turn it over and work on the wrong side. And you're going to work this row just as 11, but when we get to the end, we're going to continue to stay on the wrong side and work with a few stitches. So you're going to complete this entire row and stay on the wrong side before you turn your needles. Go ahead and do that now. The instructions are knit 1 and purl 2 and repeat across to the end of the row. Okay, so pause your video and I will meet you at that point and we'll work on the I-cord. See you in a moment. All right, we've completed our row. We're on the wrong side of row 13, and we're going to continue making an I-cord here. So we're just going to be slipping these last 2 stitches back and forth, making an I-cord, and then we'll turn it over and complete it up for our loop. So the first thing we're going to do is slip 2 stitches to the other needle, 1 and 2. And now we're going to move our working yarn between the 2 needles to the right side of the work. So technically you're yarning back, but I'm just saying it here on the pattern, move it to the right side. And we're gonna knit 2. So it's okay that your yarn is crossing over this stitch here, that's all right. We're going to knit 2. And this is gonna count as our first row for our I-cord. And now we're going to slip 2 purlwise back over to your other needle, and knit 2. 1 and 2. That is row 2. You're going to continue until you have 8 rows total. So go ahead and do that. Pause your video if needed. 3. And now we're slipping back and begin row 8. And now you're going to slip 1 purlwise. You saw that I pulled on this cord. You could probably do that right now just to make sure it looks nice and even. And we're going to slip just 1 stitch purlwise. And then we're going to yarn front. So bring our yarn forward here. And we're going to slip the last stitch back onto the end of the needle and turn our work. We're ready for row 14. Okay, we're going to slip 1 stitch purlwise, and we're going to twist and slip back on the main needle to set it up correctly because it's incorrect right now. So when we twist it like this, we're just going to twist it this way and set it back up on the needle. And now we're going to knit 1. Okay. And we're going to slip 1 purlwise. And now we're going to pick up 1 stitch at the base of the I-cord. So we're going to grab this one right here. That's pretty large. Just pick that one up. And we're going to slip 1 stitch back onto the main needle. Okay. And now we're going to knit these 2 stitches together. So the one we just slipped over and then the one we picked up from the I-cord. So just simply knit those 2 together, and we're going to begin our bind off process, and we're just going to knit over this one. Okay, so looking at back loop over the top, and now you bound off 1 stitch, and we want to work again to repeat binding off in pattern. So how you do that is you're going to purl the next stitch because this one was purled before. So yarn forward and purl, move your yarn to the back and knit over, and go ahead and knit the next stitch because it was knit, and knit over or bind off that stitch, knit the next one, bind that off, yarn forward and purl, and so on. So you're just going to continue until you get down to the end of the row, and I'll show you what to do there. Pause your video and I'll see you there. Okay, so you're finished, and go ahead and cut a nice long tail. You're going to use this for sewing in your toggle. So go ahead and pull that on through, and let's look. And you see you have your 2 loops here, and then you're just going to sew this part in, put in your toggle here, and then use this tail. Mine's a little short, so I may need to add some more, but you're going to put a toggle in here. And then you need to also make a loop on the taller version. So the short version doesn't need it, but the tall one is going to need an extra loop here. So when you pull these together, this part might pucker up a little bit, so you can put an extra loop in here. So you need to make an I-cord for that, and I have instructions in the pattern. And then you're going to want to sew in a toggle here. So you'll have to add a tail into this section and work them. So I have 3 to go along this edge here. I'll show you how to sew in one of these toggles, and then you'll want to add a loop over here. All right, so this is what this is going to look like when you get your extra loop on here. You're going to have 3 toggles that go across. So this one I'm going to wait to sew that in until after I've already got my loop on there, just for placement. For now, I want to go ahead and move this yarn around and up through this stitch here. It's along the edge, but it's just too close to the end here. So you can see on this one, it kind of goes in a little bit and goes in a stitch. So what we'll do is just pull down our yarn down to one of these stitches here into the back. Okay, and then now I'm just going to bring it forward, and yeah, I'm going to go right here. I'm just skipping down an extra stitch, and then I'm going to go back this way because I didn't want to come up here because then it might undo what I just did. So I just came up 1 stitch down further. And now I can put it right through my toggle because my needle is small enough. Okay, and then I'm gonna go down through this one and then find that spot right in the corner there, skipping over the stitch and the bind off. Okay, go down. And then I wanna go through it one more time. So I'm gonna go over again, up through that hole there. Make sure you're straight on, you're not twisting it. And then go down again into the same hole. Okay. And then if you feel like you need a little bit of height for this one, you could come back up midway and kind of go around that toggle and give it a little bit of height and just kind of make your yarn go around it twice and wrap it. I had to do that on this one here, and I use these different toggles here, and so I wrapped it around just to give it a little bit of height to get this I-cord around it, if that makes sense. So if you don't need it, don't do it. This one's a little bit wider, so I thought that I don't need it. So all I need to do now is just turn this around, and I can go underneath one of these loops here, come around, make a loop, and go through it to secure and pull. And then you just weave in that tail. All right, so let's jump on to the next part and I'll show you how to make that quick I-cord. All right, we're gonna make a 2-strand I-cord so we can make a loop here. So go ahead and make sure you have a nice long tail for sewing it in, and go ahead and make your slip knot. And we're just gonna be casting on just the 2 stitches that you need for this. So I'm going to grab it with my tail toward me and the ball to the back, and spread that to do a long tail cast on. Go and pull back, pick up at the thumb, down at the finger, down at the thumb, let it go, and we are ready to continue. So I'm going to slip this these 2 stitches over to my other needle, and go ahead and knit this very first stitch with our ball yarn, which should be coming from our 2nd stitch, and we're going to stay on this same side of the needle, slipping it back and forth. So we're going to knit 1 and 2. Okay, that is row 1. I'm just going to pull that down and go ahead and slip it over and knit the 2nd row, 1 and 2. All right, continue repeating that until you have 8 rows. See you in a moment. So I've knit our 8 rows. Actually, I looked at it on my sample. I think I need 1 more row, so I'm going to add into your pattern. It's going to say 9 rows, so go ahead and make your 9th row. I'm trying to get to about 4 inches here. Okay. All right, so we're just going to finish this off, and you can knit these 2 stitches together simply by binding it off. So take the back loop over the front, and then we're just going to pull that out and make a nice long tail for sewing. All right, so now you've completed that. Just pull in your cozy over here. All right, I grab my tapestry needle, and these are at kind of an angle, and so I'm actually going to go into one. I'm just going to take one end and put it in the middle. You can fold it in half and kind of mark it, just eyeball it, whatever you want to do. I'm going to go 1 stitch in and down, and go ahead and pull through that strand, and then take off your tapestry needle. Go grab the other strand, and we're going to go over a full stitch and up a row, so it's not right next to it. So I'm going from here over an entire stitch, which is actually both of these together, and we're going to go up a row here and down and pull through, so it has kind of an angle like the other ones. And then we're going to go up through this hole here in the back. I'm just going to pull this one to the side, out of the way. Here we go. Pull through. Okay, got it a little tight now. And now what I want to do is go through this last stitch here and connect the I-cord a lot more securely. So make sure you got all your stitch here, all your fibers. Okay. Pulling that through. All right, and then I'm going to go down through one of these end stitches here. There we go. And then I'm going to go down through that stitch again, and I'm sort of eyeballing this, so I may have to undo something, but I think it's okay. Yeah, so I pulled that through, and it's sort of imitating what this one does here. You see that? It's just resting on top of the fabric. All right, so now I'm just going to go back down where that stitch had gone over before, and then to the back. Make sure not to split this yarn. There we go. Okay, so now we can just finish that off securely. If you want, you can tie this in a knot. Okay, and then just continue by weaving in your tails. So you're going to want to weave those tails in, and then come along on the other side, put in your toggle over on here, and you are complete. All right, so I have now buckled my French press up, or my coffee press up, with my cozy. You can see I've put the loops over here and the toggles over. If you're left-handed, maybe spin it to the other side. It's got that nice little iconic cable here, and I like to keep it down at the bottom, and it'll keep all the rest of your cups warm. You can of course push it up, but the whole point is to keep everything nice and warm, waiting on you for your 2nd and 3rd and 4th cups, for those who like a lot of coffee. The one that's knit in the round, the pattern is down below as well, the link for that, and we do have a tall version, so you can make both, but this one's really great if you do have things with a handle on them that don't move. Some things you can unscrew. There's a Stanley version you can unscrew, but in order for taking it off and washing, this is really good if you don't have that option. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please tag me on Instagram on GoodKnitKisses. I would love to see yours, and let me know how it works out in keeping your coffee nice and warm. Thanks for joining us, and catch us for more videos, tutorials, and patterns here on GoodKnitKisses. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.